All right, I guess we can invite you to present your paper. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for organizing this interesting session on halal pharmaceutical and healthcare, looking the issue from the young generation perspective. So today we will have 3 speakers coming from different countries and background who will be speaking on their perspective about halal pharmaceutical. So right now we have the first speaker, Dr. Ali Alsheikh from Simic. So he will be speaking on exactly in line with the theme of the session, which is nurturing young generation in halal pharmaceutical and healthcare. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Ali to present your paper.
Thank you, Doctor. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I will start sharing and tell me if there is any problem, because I cannot see the screen. Tell me if there is any problem.
Sure.
Okay, let's start. Bismillah. So today, inshallah, as a part of this 3rd virtual international halal conference, I give presentation, inshallah, about the young generation in halal pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. I'm working in Simic General Secretariat in Turkey, and we will speak about Simic in our conversation, inshallah. This is the general contents of my presentation today. So just to give you general information, first I'll speak about halal pharmaceutical definition and current situation. Then about entrepreneurship in halal pharmaceutical, how to make a product development. Then challenge and opportunities. We will give some case studies. And the last thing, we will speak a little bit about the healthcare industry and the halal services in healthcare industry. So a little bit in the beginning, it will be just like introduction. Then we will go to our topic, how young generation entrepreneur people can join halal pharmaceuticals. Halal pharmaceutical introduction and current situation. So let's start with the definition. Actually, this is old definition. We will have a new definition in our Simic standard, inshallah, in the near future. The halal pharmaceutical means that the active pharmaceutical ingredient and excipients are permitted under the Islamic rules, which is the Sharia law, which means they don't contain any parts or product of animal that are non-halal, or any part or products of animal which are not slaughtered according to the Islamic rules. It should be free from najis materials, and this includes all raw materials, processing, operation, and final packaging also. So we will cover many topics in halal pharmaceutical, not only the non-halal animals like porcine, the pig. There is many product we get it from cow, which is not slaughtered according to the Islamic way, which is become non-halal in this situation. We have a special case for blood products and ethanol in halal pharmaceutical. All of these are some challenges in producing the halal standard for halal pharmaceuticals. There is no more simple halal or haram products. To produce food and cosmetic in these days and pharmaceutical, it's include many chemicals. For example, in pharmaceutical, there is enzyme, culture media, raw materials, excipients, GMO, additives, processing aids. All of them should be halal and produced according to the Islamic rules. So there is many research needed for science and technology also in halal studies. We need research in raw materials, in production, in products, and logistic. In any step in halal pharmaceutical, we need many research, and we need to ensure that it's produced in halal way. As you may know, medicines come from different sources, chemicals and plants. Usually these sources, we don't have a lot of problem with these sources. Usually it's halal, with some some exceptions in plants. The most problematic medicine sources come from animal and biotechnology, and this is the one which we need to make research how to make it halal and to check the sources. So what's the current situation? I'll give you the current situation in general. There is Muslim consumer which consume hundreds of haram pharmaceuticals and thousands of mashbooh products. Why they use it? Because there is no halal alternative for it, and there is famous fatwa which say that all Muslim can consume non-halal materials if there is necessity, which we call it darura in Arabic and fiqh. So according to this fatwa, all Muslims are using many non-halal and mashbooh medicines. Until now, there is no list contained on halal pharmaceuticals. Until now, medical and pharmacy school in Islamic countries did not include any subject to teach the doctor and other health professionals the basic fiqh principles related to halal and haram pharmaceuticals. I think there is one or two universities in Islamic world make few classes, just one or two classes about halal pharmaceutical, but it's not like a curriculum in the pharmacy and medicine school. Most of the haram medicine have halal alternative, but no one lists these alternative until now. The majority of the haram pharmaceuticals can become halal with minimum halal certification process and low cost research. So there is high chance to change this non-halal pharmaceutical to halal pharmaceutical, but we need to do some research. To speak about halal pharmaceutical awareness, how much people take care about their medicine, is it halal or not halal? These days, the concern regarding halal pharmaceutical is in increase among consumers and doctor and pharmacists. But until now, the concern regarding halal pharmaceutical is very limited comparing with the halal food due to the previous fatwa that we mentioned earlier. At the same time, many generation of doctor and pharmacists who is responsible to educate people about halal pharmaceutical, they are not concerned and not aware about halal pharmaceutical. So we have doctors and pharmacists who are responsible to teach Muslims about halal pharmaceutical. They don't aware about halal pharmaceuticals. Let's give you an idea about how many medicine we have from animal origin. I do this research during my PhD. I study the British pharmacopoeia. I study 2012 pharmacopoeia, British pharmacopoeia. It's contained around 3,200 monograph, and each monograph is one medicine. So we found around 129 medicine monograph, which is haram. Most of them are vaccine, blood preparation, and some homeopathic preparation. We find around 27 monograph prepared from porcine, 13 monograph prepared from bovine, 55 monograph prepared from different animal sources, from mammalian, from porcine, bovine, and different sources. There is a lot of medicine which come from biotechnology. We found around 44 monograph in 2012 British Pharmacopoeia, 2 monograph from insect, 13 monograph from animal, which we don't kill the animal in this monograph, like medicine produced from horses, mares, and from bears. We have 13 monographs from human blood plasma and different products. We have one monograph from bird and chicken. There is few monographs from other animals, which is halal, but it's also from animal sources like fish, salmon, shark, shrimp, and crab. All of them, they have some product in the British Pharmacopoeia. So in general, the animal pharmaceuticals are not that much, but still have a lot of percentage in our product, especially hormone, vaccine, and biotechnology product. So to give you just general idea about the most important big-based pharmaceuticals, there's a complete book written by Prof. Zahari in Malaysia. It's called the Halal Index, contain around 120 products produced from big. And also my PhD thesis, I collect around 300 products from animal sources. So the most important parts, for example, from the brain, this is the brain, and this is the drug derived from the brain. For example, most of them are hormones: prolactin, somatostatin, vasopressin. All of them are hormone. From the heart, from the liver, from the stomach we take pepsin, and from the small intestine we take trypsin. From the bone and cartilage we take gelatin, which is very important product in food and cosmetic and pharmaceutical industry. In the fat we take glycerol, stearic acid, lard, all of them also used in cosmetic and pharmaceuticals. From the intestinal mucosa we have all of this product. The most important one is heparin, and the heparin, low molecular heparin family, like enoxaparin, dalteparin, danabaroid, all of them are from the heparin family, anticoagulant products. From the bile, we have cholic acid. Duodenum, we have secretin. From thyroid, we have calcitonin. And also from the lung, we have proctant alpha, which is used in respiratory medicines. From the ovaries, we take some hormone like relaxin and estradiol. Pancreas, we have many products like insulin, lipase, and all of these products. Other products from nervous system, connective tissue, also we take some other products. So all of this just to give you an idea how big is our halal pharmaceutical. Now let's speak about Simic and halal pharmaceutical. To people who don't know Simic, Simic is the Standard and Metrology Institute for Islamic countries. It's an intergovernmental organization affiliated to the OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries. It's a regional standardization body established in 2010. The idea of Simic is before 2010. It's from 80s, last century, 80s. But to become true, it started in 90s. Then 2010, officially, it's become an organization following OIC. The headquarters located in Istanbul, and it's not a conformity assessment body. Simic members, all OIC countries are members in this organization. Now we have Simic have 45 states, member states, 42 full member and 3 observers. And you can find many information about Simic in our website. So what's the main objective of Simic is to prepare OIC Simic standard. This is the standard for all Muslim countries. And the most important thing is the halal standard. Then when they start Simic, they started for the halal standard, but it's produced standard for everything. It's tried to achieve uniformity in metrology, laboratory testing, and standardization. And also it's responsible to establish conformity assessment scheme for halal and other quality infrastructures. So we have something, we call it OIC Simic Halal Standards. This is a standard produced by Simic. And until now, we have many standards. In halal topics, we have around 14 standards. Like Simic 1, halal food, Simic 2, halal first certification body, Simic 4 for cosmetic, Simic 6 for restaurant, Simic 24 for food additives, and so on. So we have technical committees in Simic. Simic Technical Committee number 16, responsible for halal pharmaceutical issues. It's very new committee, because to make a committee, it should be suggested by the member countries, and in the first meeting of the head of national medicine regulatory authorities, which held in Jakarta 2018, in the Jakarta Declaration, they say that Simic is the right platform to establish the halal standard and the vaccine standard. So during the World Halal Summit in 2018, also in the Istanbul Declaration, they promote developing halal pharmaceutical technical committee. 2019, Malaysia suggests to establish this new field, and at the end of this 2019, 10 countries accept to become member in this technical committee. So in 2019, we have the first meeting for this technical committee, and they approve the title. So the title of the technical committee is Halal Pharmaceutical Issues, and the scope is standardization in the field of halal pharmaceutical, including but not limited to manufacturing and handling of pharmaceutical based on Islamic rules and ethics. So finally, we have this Simic 16 for halal pharmaceutical, and they start the first project, OIC Simic 50, Halal Pharmaceutical General Guideline. So halal TC16 member countries, these countries you can see in the map. We have 12 members: Cote d'Ivoire, Indonesia, Iran, Malaysia, Morocco, Niger, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Tunisia, Turkey, and Uganda. And we have observer members like Egypt, Libya, Palestine, Russia, United Arab Emirates. All of these countries, they come to the meeting and they discuss how to establish halal pharmaceutical standard and discuss all standards related to halal pharmaceuticals. They start with this project, OIC Simic 50, Halal Pharmaceuticals, and it's still in the preparation stage until now. So this Halal Pharmaceutical 50 will be 3 parts. Part 1, general requirements. Part 2, requirements for biopharmaceutical, including the vaccine. And part 3 will be for halal, for health supplements and nutraceuticals. So in general, will be the most detailed standard in halal pharmaceutical, inshallah. Our member countries like Malaysia, they have one standard. Pakistan, they have one standard. Brunei, they have one standard. So, and they come and discuss their standard, and they put more efforts to produce this standard. And inshallah, within 2 years, 1 year and a half, inshallah, it will be ready, because we have different stage and voting stage to finish this standard. So what's the good thing in halal pharmaceutical standard of Simic? We take the concept of halal built in rather than destined for. So we make sure that everything is prepared halal from the beginning, not to test after it's ready. And the most important thing in the Islamic rules in OIC Simic standard, that we work in cooperation, with strong cooperation with the Majma' al-Fiqh al-Islami, the Islamic Fiqh Academy, which following the OIC. So we have strong cooperation with the International Islamic Fiqh Academy. They attend our meeting, the technical committee meeting. And also all National Islamic and Fatwa department are represented in the technical committees. Usually in Simic standard, we look for the common and majority accepted opinion, not only for one school of fiqh. So in general, the halal standard of Simic is more accepted by the majority of the Muslim countries. I'll give you an example. The same topic have different status in our halal standard. For example, ethanol, it's completely not accepted in food in OIC Simic 1. It's accepted for external use in cosmetic in OIC Simic 4. And it's limited use with many restriction in food additives in Simic 24. And it's limited with restriction for the limits if it's come from natural fermentation in OIC Simic 38. So in general, the same topic can be have different values in OIC Simic standard according to the different fiqh rules after what called discussion with the Islamic Fiqh Academy and other Islamic departments. Okay, all of this, all what we speak now is the first part, which is introduction, just to know what is halal pharmaceutical. And we will start now about our topic today, about entrepreneurship in halal pharmaceutical product development. You are young entrepreneur guy and you want to establish business in halal pharmaceutical. Is it suitable? Is it easy? Is it difficult? I will try to answer this question. I am not a businessman, I am a scientist, but I can give you few ideas, and you need to do more research after this, inshallah. So to give a current situation of halal pharmaceutical now, halal pharmaceutical is still a new field in halal industry, with the minimum number of research and product until now. If you compare it to the food and cosmetic, halal pharmaceutical is still the most new field. And halal pharmaceutical awareness is still premature comparing to the halal food and cosmetic also. And practically, most of the registered products are dietary supplements and some OTC medicine. OTC medicine, we know that we call it over-the-counter drug. It's the medicine which is used without prescription. So the majority of the halal certified product following this two category, dietary supplement and OTC medicines. What's the difference between dietary supplement and pharmaceuticals? You should know this thing. The pharmaceuticals, we say there is indication for the pharmaceutical. It's used for this thing. But in dietary supplement, we said it's claims. The Ministry of Health is responsible for giving the what you call it, the license to produce medicine, while Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade are responsible for giving the license for dietary supplements. So there is different organization give the license to start this business. It's very difficult to get license from the health Ministry of Health comparing to the Ministry of Agriculture. And the medicine pharmaceutical come after long clinical trials and research, while nutraceuticals and dietary supplements usually need limited research and sometimes no research to produce it. Okay, I will give you some example about famous halal pharmaceutical companies around the world before we discuss how to establish halal pharmaceutical product. From these companies, you can see the market, how big is it. According to my information, there is no more than 15 halal pharmaceutical companies around the world. And there is a lot of companies which produce halal medicine, but they are not certified. And they are not aware about getting certified. This is another issue also. One of the most famous and oldest halal pharmaceutical companies is the Do Pharma in Malaysia. It was called CCM company last time. They produce very wide range of OTC products. They have very active roadshow and customer awareness program. And finally, they start to produce biotechnology product in the last few years, which give a lot of value to their products. Another company is Farhani, also from Malaysia. They have wide range of products. They have halal pharmacy chain also. They have some injection which certified, and this is some added value to this company. There is another company called Ain Medicare. They are specialized in IV preparation, and the most important product for them are the bovine heparin, which they imported the raw material from Brazil. As you know that heparin, the majority of the heparin in the world is produced from intestinal mucosa of porcine. So they import the raw material of bovine heparin from Brazil, and they produce it in this company. So this is added value to this company since they take this market. Halagel, it's a company to produce hard and soft gelatin capsules, some toothpaste. Unfortunately, they closed a few years ago, and we have different capsule gelatin companies which have halal certificate. We will speak about the idea of producing halal gelatin, inshallah, in this presentation. We have AG Biologics, which R&D company which aim to produce halal vaccine. It's a Saudi Malaysian company. They have factory in Austria, and from 2 years there is no more information about their product, the halal vaccine that they work on it, but they are working in biologics. There is Bosch Pharmaceutical in Pakistan. They have wide range of products. They have vials on balls and some antibiotics. All of them are certified. We have some multivitamin companies like Black Morris, like Noor Vitamins. Noor Vitamins are established in USA. Usually they are working in the online marketing, and they produce the product in the OEM products. That means they use different company to produce their products. So it's like you make a brand and you don't have factory. There is Rosemont company from UK. I think it's one of the few companies which produce halal liquid preparation in the UK. There is Simbor. It's also in Brunei. It's halal contract manufacturing company. They have some relation with Canada. Also is a small halal pharmaceutical company. So what's the idea? Why I give you information about all of these pharmaceutical companies? To know what is the market. There is some big companies in OTC. There is some companies produce gelatin. There is some companies do OEM, what you call it, product and make a branding. Some repackaging companies. This is the idea now in the halal pharmaceutical market. So how to produce halal pharmaceutical product? How to do product development? In business and engineering, the new product development covers the complete process of bringing a new product to the market. New product development is described in literature as the transformation of a market opportunity into a product available for sale. So you take it from opportunity to make it a product in the market. To make new product development process, you need to start with the strategy, the idea, then you do idea screening, business analysis, then you make test for the marketing, commercialization, then you find the new product. This is in engineering usually. In pharmacy, it's much difficult because we do some drug research, then we have some preclinical tests, some clinical trials, and after that we get the approval and the final phase of clinical trials. So usually we start with hundreds of products and compounds. Then it's become less. Only few of them they pass the first phase, and in every clinical trial, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, many products are excluded because it's not safe to the human, it's not effective, it's not economic. All of them are excluded. So to get one drug, you need few years and hundred of million or tens of million to finish one product. So it's very expensive way to get a new drug in the market. Okay, in halal pharmaceutical, what we should do to produce halal pharmaceutical? It's different. It's not like normal medicine. It's a little bit different. The most easiest way is to get halal certificate for herbal products and for some halal chemicals, which is easy. The majority of the herbal products come from plant source. So you make herbal and you get halal certificate for this one. This is the easiest way to get halal pharmaceutical products. The second way is to change something in the recipe. There is medicine in the market which is non-halal, and you change something in this medicine so it's become halal. It's like the cake recipe concept. Usually you have different product in the cake. Imagine that you have everything in the cake, but you don't have egg. So you need to replace the egg with another component, and try to make it with the same taste, with the same effective of this cake. For example, you just change the excipients. Centrum is a famous multivitamin product, but they have some excipients in this product which is non-halal, like gelatin, for example. So what Noor Vitamin do? They change the excipients and they make it halal multivitamin. Sometimes you need to change the source of the active ingredient. For example, we have vitamin D. Vitamin D come from different sources. So in natural made brand, it's come from non-halal source. In Noor Vitamins, they try to bring it from halal source. So you don't change only the excipient, you change the ingredient also. Sometimes you need to change many things, not only the excipients, also the producing procedure, the cooking procedure of the ingredients. And this is usually happened in the vaccine. All of you heard about the Hajj vaccine for meningitis, and it's produced in Malaysia. It's until now, according to my information, until now it's not finally produced. It's cooperation between University Science Malaysia and Finlay Institute in Cuba and the AJ Biologic. All of them cooperate in this project. So changing the culture media and the process technique is not easy usually, because the culture media ingredient contains many haram and najis ingredients. Most of the used enzyme are not halal. So to change this culture media for biotechnology, it's not easy. But what's the good thing? That you can have patent for the process and for the formulation. So when you make something, you get patent. That means you save your money and you can get benefit from your research. Okay. And the last way to develop halal pharmaceutical is to do research until finding a new source of the haram chemical. And no one make this process until now. We have around 400 chemicals, which is not halal and mashbooh. So that's mean there is 400 opportunity, and the market size of this 400 chemicals is around $100 billion. Company can use the halal opportunity index to decide which chemical more economic value. I established this halal pharmaceutical opportunities index few years ago in 2016, according to different research. So I give mark to each step, and I study the essential medicine list, vaccine, prescribed medicine, dietary supplement, and cosmetics, and the disease morbidity, disease mortality, the time needed to find halal alternative, the approximate budget to find halal alternative. I study all of these factors and I find something that we call it halal pharmaceutical opportunities index. If this the maximum index of this mark of this index is 45 points and the minimum is 7 points. If your product gets more than 27 points, that means it's high priority and opportunity to get in this project. It's just give you an indication if this project is okay to go or not. Okay, this is all what we speak now is what is what call it, the market of the halal pharmaceutical for entrepreneurship. And now let's say about challenge and opportunities. We know how to make new product development for halal pharmaceuticals. You need to get certified for some plant, or change something in non-halal to make it halal, or to make research from the zero. And for any people working in the halal pharmaceutical or health industry, they must know that this industry one of the most expensive industry in the world. It's not easy to invest in this industry. At the same time, it's one of the most profitable industry in the world. So how much challenge you have, how much opportunity you will have. So let's give you some cases about some suggested idea in halal pharmaceuticals. Let's start with the halal plutonium toxin, which is tox. Uh, According to my information, the culture media contains some najis material and haram materials, some haram enzyme, which is not halal. So all Botox produced around the world until now is not halal certified, and it's used a lot. There is very big market and increased, estimated around $3 billion for Muslim countries only, not for the world consumption, for the Muslim countries only. The research time and cost is very small comparing to the profits. I mean, it's not easy, but it's comparing to the profit, it's very good. So this is the market and how much it's increased around these years from 2012 and 2020. The devices, the implants, the anti-wrinkle products, all of them are increasing. And as I say, the Botox until now, there is no halal certified product. What you need to make it halal, you need to change the culture media to make sure that it's not contain any najis material and haram enzyme. Same for the hyaluronic acid, which is the dermal filler. Also, it's used in cosmetics and in pharmaceutical. The culture media contains some najis and haram materials. There is very big market, estimated to be 4 billion for Muslim countries, and the research time and cost is very small comparing to the profits. Okay, the dermal filler produced from some animal sources and from biotechnology sources, and also it has high opportunity to produce it as halal pharmaceutical. The previous example are example of product which need research to change the culture media. So you don't change the product itself, you change the culture media and the ingredient of the culture media, so it's become halal. Now we have another idea which need more complicated research, which is enoxaparin. You heard about heparin. Heparin is anticoagulant enzyme, anticoagulant drug. It's used in medicine in every hospital every day. We have low molecular heparin products like enoxaparin, dalteparin, a lot of products, 6 or 7 members in this family. So until now, the produced product come from the porcine heparin, like Clexane in the market and Lovinox in the market. And this injection are very important during pregnancy. A lot of women use it during pregnancy. So we have heparin, bovine heparin, which is halal. Okay, the heparin market for the Muslim countries is around $690 million, while the enoxaparin market for the Muslim countries is $2 billion, $2.1 billion. Both of them are essential drug. Essential drugs, that means every hospital must have this medicine. And when you have this medicine, the essential drugs, that give you high opportunity index in the halal opportunity index. So, and the nice thing, it can be patent. If you make halal enoxaparin, it can be patent. In this case, what you should do, you should go and make research about bovine heparin, how to move it from heparin to enoxaparin, and how to produce it in large quantity and finish all of this process. It will cost few $1 million, but also at the end, it will give you the opportunity to monopolize a large market, around $2 billion market. Because since you have halal pharmaceutical certified product, all Muslim cannot use the non-halal product. So this is also another project, but as you see, it's multi-million project and research. Maybe it's suitable for government, maybe it's suitable for some already some company which is with big enough budget for research, and they can go for this chance. Another idea. This idea, it's not important to produce by your company. You can produce it by another company. For example, it's the gelatine sponge. I think most of you know that there is absorbable gelatine sponge used during the operation. The surgeon use it to absorb the extra blood come from the body. They use it also in the dental doctor. Some of them come in gel form way. So what's the idea? This gelatine sponge, it's contain non-halal gelatin. The idea is to replace the non-halal gelatin with halal gelatin. It's easy to say, but it will cost you also a lot of research to produce this product. Since you produce it, you will make sure that there is a lot of people will order this product, especially from the Muslim countries. So all of these are opportunities. Some other opportunities, there is halal raw materials. If you produce any raw materials which is not halal, you produce it from halal and you sell to the company later. This is an idea. Halal culture media company, you are preparing some Peptone and some other product which is used in the culture media later. Halal analysis laboratories, and also to sell slaughterhouses byproduct to halal pharmaceutical companies. This is also another product. I make few presentation in the last few years about the byproducts in the halal industry, in the halal pharmaceutical and halal cosmetics. Inshallah, if you search in the word halal summit, you can find this presentation, inshallah. So is it worth to investment in halal pharmaceutical? In normal drug discovery, it's take around 7 to 12 years at least to make new product. In halal pharmaceutical, the research time is very short because you don't change the complete product. You just change some raw materials, some culture media, so it take longer, less time. The research cost is very small comparing to the drug discovery. The patent, it's available for patent, and this is very good. In the competition term, we say halal pharmaceutical is still blue ocean until now, whereas drug discovery is red ocean. And the marketing for halal pharmaceutical is easy comparing to the drug discovery. Why? Because you, if you convince doctors that this is halal alternative and the other product is non-halal, all doctor will prescribe the halal one automatically. You need to spend some money on the educating of doctor about halal pharmaceutical, and everything will be easy in that. So is it worth? Yes, sure, 100% it's worth to invest in halal pharmaceutical, but be aware. You should study the market very well before you start. What I told you now is scientist opinion that there is opportunity, but you should study the market if it's good or not. I'll give you example. I'll give you example where people think that this is very high chance opportunity, but they didn't calculate it in right way, so they not fail, they make some problem. For example, the Saudi gelatin and capsule companies. This company is was an idea by the OIC organization. They think that in Mecca every year there is few million udhiyah, the qurban that we use it for Hajj every year. So if we take this from these animals, you have few million skin byproduct which is come every year, and they bring the factory and they buy the factory from China and they make it in Mina, and they discover the problem after that, that you need daily consumption, daily what you call it, daily raw material come to you to produce it around the year. Not in 1 week you have 3 million animals. So you have in 1 week 3 million animal or 4 million animal. You have to keep it in good condition, in very big warehouse, in storage to do the process around the year, and this is not good cost effective for the company. So later they discovered that it was not good idea to make this gelatin company in this place, and it's not enough for the Hajj Qurban to support this company by the raw material. The company have many difficulties. It's a little bit stable now, but they move from producing gelatin to producing capsule to avoid the problem. So until now they are not in very good condition, but it's when you study it for the first time, it's look for you that it's good opportunity, but when you go for the practical, it's not good. So this is what I have about the halal pharmaceutical product development and the chances. There is many chances, but you should do good study before you invest in halal pharmaceutical for young generation. Okay, there is healthcare industry, and it's full of opportunities. The hospital services and pharmacy services, all of these services full with opportunities. There is ethical code available in the most of the Islamic countries, but it's need a little bit improvement. So we have the Islamic ethics in medicine, but it's need to be more standardized. There is segregation in some hospital services in some Muslim countries. It's also should be more more focus on this topic. Segregation in hospital services, it's very easy for women because we have a lot of nurses, female nurses. It's difficult in the male because we have very limited number of male nurses. So we should establish IVF protocols, halal protocols for IVF. It's already available in most of the Muslim countries, but it's need more standardized. We need more halal services and hospitality for medical tourism. We need halal food for patients. In some countries it's okay. Some countries it's you can provide this service. We need some medical devices regulation for the halal things. All of these things, it's need someone to invest in these opportunities. For example, in USA, there is one sister invest in providing food meals for jail, for people in the jail, Muslim in the jail. Another sister invest in producing halal food meals for schools. Another sister invest in halal food meal for patient in the hospital. So you can find opportunities in hospitals and medical tourism, but you need to investigate the market and make good study about it. It's very wide, ocean. It's need a lot of people to go in this field, and hopefully, inshallah, after this introduction, you have an idea about halal pharmaceuticals. In conclusion, we can conclude that we're still in the surface and we need a lot to discover the deep halal pharmaceutical. OIC Simic standards for halal pharmaceutical have many advantages, and hopefully, inshallah, it will be ready soon for halal pharmaceutical. To invest in halal pharmaceutical, it's both financial and religious benefit. Halal pharmaceutical and healthcare services are blue ocean, but the young entrepreneur shall be aware of the possible failure also. Thank you so much, and I think this is what I have today, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ali, for a wonderful presentation. Let me congratulate Dr. Ali for a very enlightening substance about the foundation and future of the halal pharmaceutical. Especially now we have the audience of young generation. So Dr. Ali basically is an associate professor of clinical pharmacy, drug information. He got his PhD in clinical pharmacy from Universiti Science Malaysia. He needs no further introduction because he works at SMIIC, and when it comes to Halal Pharmaceutical Working Group, is also the convener of the porcine detection experts working group, which is responsible for developing standards and analytical methods relating to halal authenticity and porcine detection, particularly for TC1, TC2, and also TC16 under SMIIC. So that's another opportunity as well, Talia. I mean, if someone has reached a certain level of expertise and knowledge, they can contribute as well to SMIIC as part of standard making process. We have sometimes maybe a Q&A session for further discussion. If there is any questions from the audience, please post the question. You can actually speak up live and ask the question directly to Dr. Ali. So while waiting for the audience to ask question, I listen attentively to what you mentioned. I think a lot of things actually that to digest, and quite overwhelmed with what you have been speaking about halal pharmaceutical. I have many questions, but I think I would like to give to the audience later as well to ask questions, if any. Just one question from me. Now halal pharmaceutical is growing positively. If you see the graph, then is going up, especially during the time of pandemic, where the demand for halal pharmaceutical is there, and there is also a growing concern and also interest among the Muslim community for the halal vaccine. But I'm just wondering, how far do you think that the halal pharmaceutical application or industry has been addressing the critical need of the world's or the Muslim population, particularly when it comes to the chronic or critical disease? Because at the moment, as you mentioned, most halal pharmaceutical certified products mostly focusing on dietary supplements. Of course, there are growing interest among the pharmaceutical company. Maybe I can cite the example of Duo Pharma, where they had this kind of JV with a Korean company to produce a biosimilar drugs to address anemia issue. But how do you think the halal industry is growing next, particularly to address the chronic health disease issue in the Muslim population?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I can say that we don't have problem in vaccine industry. We in the next coming years, inshallah, we can have many products with halal certificate. We have around 16 vaccine company around the OIC countries. The biggest one in Indonesia, and they produce vaccine according to the WHO regulations. So hopefully in the next coming years, we will not have problem with the halal vaccine. I mean, the majority of the basic vaccine will be halal certified if there is some good research in this field. The problem with the essential drugs, since the majority of the chemicals are not produced in OIC countries, in Muslim countries. The good thing that the majority of this product are halal in general. So until now, we are not there is food security, there is medicine security. We have this concept in food security. Muslim countries, 60%. We cover 60% of our needs, but in pharmacy security, we are around 80%, 85% in most optimistic way. So we are still very long time to reach secure from medicine. Hopefully, inshallah, if people become aware about halal pharmaceutical, companies and countries start to produce the raw materials in halal way. But as I say every time, halal pharmaceutical now is like computer science in 50s. No one want to study it. It's like you study something usefulness, but the future for this thing. Like you study computer in the 60s, at that time, no one know about the opportunities of the computer. Same like.
Thank you, Dr. Ali, for a wonderful answer. Do we have any questions from the audience to Dr. Ali?
Dr. Nizam,
Yes.
am I permitted to ask a question to Dr. Ali?
Sure, Dr. Alina, please go ahead.
Okay, I am very enlightened by the information that you shared. Okay, is there any potential that nutraceuticals can benefit in terms of the standardization, and then we can get it from the source from Muslim countries itself? That means so that we will be having our own self-sufficiency. Okay, so how do we go around that capacity so that throughout the whole halal value chain concerning about nutraceuticals, it can be halal, the raw materials is also based from the Muslim countries, and how do we get that to move? Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, nutraceuticals is have two parts: the standardization of the plant itself to make it standardized extract, for example, to make it the same dose every time, and to discover new molecule from nutraceuticals. There's opportunities from this field, and as we say, the plant source until now, 30% of our medicine come from plant source. If you come to the medicine in general, 30% come from plant source, around 60% come from chemical source, and the rest is animal and biotechnology. Biotechnology is increasing now. Animal is very limited comparing to the other sources. So as you say, nutraceuticals has high potential in the next coming years if we can produce new molecule to become medicine. If it's still like nutraceuticals, not become medicine, prescribed medicine, the investment value is not that much. It's good, but not that much in the investment value, as I say. So every time we encourage countries to look for the high investment value. High investment now is the biotechnology product. After that, chemical product. After that, nutraceuticals. So if you told me which company I should invest in pharmaceutical these days, it should be biotechnology, then chemical, then nutraceuticals.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. And now I let other scientists to continue.
Thank you, Dr. Alina, for the question. Right, Dr. Ali, I guess that's all the time that we have with you now. I like the idea when you put the tagline, every haram product can become halal. So that means there is abundance of potential for Muslim countries, scientists, and also pharma companies to explore further on the opportunity in the halal pharmaceutical industry. Thank you so much again, Dr. Ali, for your time.
Thank you so much. And all people who attend, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much as well. All right. So moving on to Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. If you would like to join until the end, then you are welcome. All right. Okay, I would like now to invite the second speaker, Dr. Farhani binti Zarmani. She's a senior lecturer and also a halal executive trainer. She's attached to the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies at the Universiti Teknologi Mara UITM Shah. Her research interest is on halal medical device, medical tourism, and halal science. She's also one of the member of Working Group MS 2636 on halal medical device standard. Is one of the recent or latest certification scheme in halal certification in Malaysia. It's a growing area, I guess, as well. Together with the, I mean, from the product and then you're going into medical device as a sensor device, And then at the same time, she's also an active trainer in halal and a freelance auditor. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Farhani to present your thoughts on halal medical device. Please, Doctor.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay,
Very
good. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, and a very good evening to the moderator, Mr. Nizam, and also to the audience. Okay, first, I would like to thank the organizer, okay, for allowing me to have this chance to share my study that has been conducted since 2013 and ongoing until now. Okay, so okay. All right. Okay. So I am Nur Farhani, binti Zarmani, here as being introduced by Mr. Nizam. Okay, being part of the, I mean not at the beginning of the development of standard, but my PhD study was actually focused on the guideline, developing the guideline for halal medical device. And the demand towards halal medical device actually has been initiated since at the end of 2012, where few of the companies producing medical device product request for halal logo from the Jabatan Agama Islam, I mean the JAKIM, and also the state's religious. Okay, why the demand has arisen? It is because they want to penetrate, okay, the global market, especially market at the Muslim majority countries. Okay, so my sharing today will be on how to meet MS 2636, which is halal medical device general requirement guide for the novice. Okay, so the outline of my presentation today will be basically introduced on what is actually medical device. Okay, we will explore on the classification of medical device, types of medical devices, and I will also touch on certain issues of medical devices. And the next main chapter is where I will share with you on the key elements of MS 2636, okay, guide for the novice, because actually this sharing is a reflection of what I have been conducted during my industrial attachment at Worldwide Medivest. Okay, so Worldwide Medivest is a company that manufacture surgical sutures material, or we call it as suture, okay, used for stitching of wound after injury. And the next part is usage of the medical device from the perspective of hukum. Okay. So why I'm using MS 2636? Because it is the only documentation, okay, I mean the benchmark, okay, to ensure that the medical devices produced by the manufacturers comply with Sharia regulations through standardization of all key elements in the entire chain. And I want to let the audience know that the aims of this standard is to ensure that the medical device produced not only in terms of the sourcing of raw materials should be permitted by Sharia, but also in terms of the processing that shall be free from prohibited materials and even the logistic part. So however, okay, we should be aware that there are still unclear guidance on how the young the halal executive, okay, or the auditor will interpret the analytical requirements described and in this Malaysian standard. So the main objective of this sharing is to review the halal certification requirements contained in this Malaysian standard, and finally to provide recommendations or guidance for the medical device manufacturer and also auditor to meet this requirement. And like I mentioned before, okay, at the end of this sharing, I will also discuss on the usage of medical device from the perspective of hukum. And yeah, moving on to the definition of medical device. What is actually medical device? Okay, medical device are in simpler terms, okay, it refers to all equipment that we could found in the hospital, okay, ranging from the simpler tongue depressor until the complex machine such as pacemaker. Okay, so basically, a medical device refers to any instrument, apparatus, implement, machine, appliance, implant, in vitro reagent, software or material that for the purpose of diagnosis, prevention, monitoring or treatment of or alleviation of disease, or to treat the injury, okay, for investigation, replacement, or to support the anatomy or physiological process, any equipment used to support or sustaining life, control of contraception, and even disinfection of the medical devices. Besides, medical device also can be used as the tools to provide information for medical or diagnostic purposes. Okay. However, okay, medical device does not achieve its primary intended action by pharmacological, immunological, or metabolic means. These three mentioned reaction is actually refers to the pharmaceutical products or drugs. Okay. So, as I mentioned in this part, okay, the main differences between pharmaceutical and medical device, okay, we can determine whether it is medical device or non-medical device based on a set of classification criteria. Okay, whether we look for the primary intended purpose, okay, or the primary mode of action. Okay, normally this primary intended purpose will be determined by the manufacturer of the medical device, and primary mode of action for pharmaceutical products, it achieve the reaction, okay, it achieve its function based on the immunological pharmacological reaction. However, for medical device, it will set only a physical barrier, okay, or will achieve its function through mechanical action only. Okay, and the main criteria for pharmaceutical is that it consists of active ingredient and has indication and normally in the pharmaceutical dosage form. And the criteria to classify whether a material is pharmaceutical or medical device may be referred by the reference country. Okay, so these are the ecosystem of medical device as in Malaysia. Okay, we have the consumables types of medical device, surgical instruments, okay, and healthcare equipment. Okay, so even okay, the bedpans in the hospital is considered as medical device. Okay, and we also has other supporting industry such as the technology, okay, and also the sterilization until the regulatory aspect. Okay. Moving on to the types of medical devices. Okay, we have few types of medical devices which are active medical device. Active medical device actually refer to any devices that it will the energy is needed to for the medical device to have its function. Okay, and yeah, it depends. It will depend.
Dr. Farhani. Okay, I think due to the internet connection here. Right. Dr. Farhani, are you still there? There is an issue of internet connection.
Live. Hello. And
Hello.
for live. Hello.
We lost you. Back.
Okay.
Right. Now it's okay. Now it's good.
Now it's good. Okay. Which part am I missing, Mr. Nizam? This part? Still this part? Yeah. Okay. So we have life supporting medical device and self-testing and active therapeutic medical devices. Okay. So for the classification of medical devices, Mr. Nizam, can you hear me?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, very clearly now.
Okay, I'm pardon for the
No worries.
technical problem. Okay, so we have four. Okay. Okay, so for the risk level of medical devices can be classified into four classes. Okay, which it is determined by the usage of the medical device. I mean the duration. It can be determined by the duration of usage, invasive level of the medical device, okay, whether it is only used out of the body or it used inside of our human body in a simple term. Okay, and let us see. Okay, for class A, okay, example is wheelchair, and class B, it the risk level is increased, okay, where it already attached to the human skin, and however it only used for the temporary usage. Okay, for class C and class D, I'm giving the same example, which is sutures. Okay, for class C, okay, normally the material or the medical device is attached to the human body, but it only used for temporary duration. Okay, because in medical device we have three level of duration, which is transient, short term, and long term usage. Okay, for transient, the usage of medical device is within not more than 60 minutes, while for the short term, it is within 60 minutes to 30 days. And for more than 30 days, it is considered as long term. Okay. For non-absorbable suture, it is actually refers to suture is actually the wound closure. Okay, I will explain more later. But the main thing that I want to stress here is that non-absorbable suture, the thread that we use to stitch the wound or close the wound, will be only left for certain period of time in the human body, and later it to be removed, okay, by the medical practitioner. However, for absorbable suture, the material of the suture will be absorbed from time to time. Okay, and yeah, I'm using one of the only one example of medical device, which is suture. And why I use suture? Because for me, it is ideal to show the example that cover both risk classification that is higher, which is class C and class D. Okay. And in summary, suture actually can be classified into three major components, which are the source of origin of the suture. Okay, and the source of origin of the suture can be further subdivided into whether the suture derived from organic material, which are hayawani animals, okay, and also nabati, which is plant-based material. Okay, so in animal-based material, there are issues arising regarding the usage of non-halal animal used as the material to make suture. Okay, the example of suture material made up of animals, we named the suture as catgut suture. Okay, catgut doesn't reflect that the suture is made up of the gut of the cat. The cat is actually the short term or the abbreviation of cattle, which refer to all living stocks, okay, or farm animals. It can be horse, it can be any bovine material, okay, cattle, sheep, and even pork. Okay, so for halal animal, it will have no issue if the material of the suture derived from the intestinal part of halal animal, which come from the permitted species and also slaughtered according to the Islamic law. Okay, while for haram animals, catgut, the intestinal part, may be derived from the haram animals that are mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah. Okay, so for synthetic material, the source of origin, the suture, may be made up of a wide variety of polymer. Okay, nylon, PP, polyglycolic acid, and so on. Okay, and the next major classification of suture is absorption profile. For absorption profile, the material of the suture can be classified as absorbable, where the material of the suture will absorb from time to time. For natural or organic material that can be absorbable, it will degrade into the human tissue through the enzymatic reaction. Okay. While for absorbable suture made up of synthetic material, it will undergo hydrolysis process, okay, that will degrade or decompose the synthetic suture material. Okay, for non-absorbable suture, the material will retain its material and need to be removed, okay, until complete closure of the wound. Okay, so these are the evolution of suture. Actually, suture, the idea, okay, start from where the usage of the animal army ant, okay, we call it as army ant, Ikaiton brucellii. Okay, if you watch one movie, okay, named Apocalypto, okay, that was directed by Mel Gibson, there is a scene where a mother of a kid used the army ant to close the wound of the child. Okay, so that is how stitching took place. Okay, and then it evolved by using the cotton fiber, the intestinal part of the animals, okay, the stapler, glue, and there are more advanced tools in the technology of wound closure. And finally, this is using zip. Okay, so moving on to the main topics that I want to share here is actually what are the novice, okay, or the newcomer, okay, into newcomer, either you are from the industry or from the auditor of the certification body, okay, that wish to understand what are the criteria to comply to whatever mentioned in the MS 2636. But I need to to have the disclaimer here that not all the recommendation can be implemented in the company. But you need to understand that before you implement the requirements stated in MS 2636, your establishment, your premise need to be first registered, okay, the products, okay, comply to the ISO of medical device, which we call it as ISO 13485. Okay, and for the Malaysian local manufacturer or the establishment, they need to comply to the Medical Device Act. Okay, and that is regulated under Medical Device Authority or MDA. Okay, so these are what I have identified, okay, through my internship, okay, at the company, okay, and actually the process of coming up into this recommendation is that the first step that I did is that I go thoroughly to the documentation MS 2636 and then come up with the criteria, and we analyze, okay, the strength, weakness, and whatever opportunities that the company can identify, and whatever have been analyzed are discussed through several face-to-face and also teleconference meeting. So the first, okay, actually I have around 6 main point, okay, of what the newcomers of halal medical device should know. The first aspect is the prerequisite for halal certification. Second part is the management responsibility or authority and communication. The third part is to control, okay, the requirements on controlling your material and products. The fourth is control of processing. And the fifth is environment control and supporting facilities. Workers, okay, the sixth is the workers empowerment. 7 is the halal management system. 8 is the documentation and record keeping. And finally is the analysis of effectiveness and improvement. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss or elaborate this in detail because of the time. Okay, so let me just highlight, okay, the insignificant part, okay, that I prefer, okay, that I think that it would be enough for this session. So for MS 2636 prerequisite for halal certification, we divided it into quality management, okay, which the industry, okay, of medical device must make sure that your product have been registered with the Medical Device Authority. So as an auditor or as the halal executive of the company, you need to look for the registration certificate, okay. So normally I believe that it won't be critical issue because the Medical Device Authority has stringent regulation, because we not only rely solely on the MDA. MDA actually also give, okay, the responsibility to the ACB, accredited certification body, where they are the one to audit the medical device, and whatever report that have been collected through the audit will be verified by MDA. So that is how the process takes place. We have layers of regulator, layers of verification activity, okay, and make sure the establishment that process the medical device has been licensed, okay, and the medical device establishment shall comply to the statutory and regulation requirements, okay, be it technical requirements and also halal related statutory. Okay, so but this the issue comes here is how can the medical device company confirm that their product, their operation has been confirmed to the halal requirements if there is no audit from the religious authority being conducted on site. Okay, so this is where the challenge take place. Okay, I need you all to be aware, okay, that up until now, the main problem that has been repeatedly discussed is that we already has the MS2636. However, there is a delay in the implementation of halal medical device. Okay, the main factors are we are still absence of the halal medical device scheme, or I can say that we have no halal medical device in my e-halal system. It still not appear the halal medical device option. So we still lacking of the benchmark and I mean the system for us to apply for the halal certification. Okay. However, for the time, however, what the religious authority have done in order not to inhibit the progress of the industry is that some of the company, okay, under medical device company, they are certified halal but under different umbrella. I mean under different scheme. It can be consumer goods. They also have a medical device company who has the certification under MS 2424. Okay. So the next part is the management responsibility. Yeah, because the management responsibility plays an important roles where the management, the top management need to have clear direction and clear and show commitment, okay, towards halal certification. Okay, so what can we do is that apart from we understand, okay, the direction of the company, we need to make sure that the management has provide adequate resources towards the halal development of the company. Okay, so these are the main information that we all can look for, okay, such as whether the company has higher sufficient numbers of workers, okay, and whether the company has provided funding, certain funding to empower the workers. Okay. Okay, so these are also even the personnel and responsibility also included as the management responsibility, and all the direction or the philosophy towards halal of the company need to be clearly communicated to all the stakeholder involved, not only the internal staff, okay, internal stakeholder. The socialization of halal need to be promoted, okay, to the external stakeholders such as our potential clients. So control of materials and product, okay, materials shall need to be comply with requirements of halal and comply with the statutory and regulatory. So the priority is you need to make sure that the material is safe, okay, then comes towards halal. Okay, because the main, the gist of medical device is that it need to be safe and efficient. Safety and efficacy is the main criteria that is regulated by the MDA, and then halal will be the responsibility will be under the Jabatan Agama Islam. Okay. So make sure we have adequate supporting documentation, such as halal certificate for each ingredient. Yes, this is one of the another challenges to be provided by the company. Okay, because unlike food industry, where the halal is widely made aware, but not like pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and medical device. Okay, the supplier, to get supplier that comply to halal is a biggest challenge, okay, that faced by the industry. Okay, however, we can there are alternatives for us to make sure that the product is free from nuts, such as we have the analysis base to make sure that it is free from nuts. Okay. So a part of raw material, main materials, okay, the supplies or the material used in the supporting processes, such as for the maintenance activity, for the laboratory activity, must conform to halal. Okay. In the medical device industry, they will have R&D department who conduct the analysis, okay, routine analysis. So the usage of broth media or growth media might be made up of non-halal sources. Okay, so make sure that these should be considered in your judgment. Okay. And yeah, this is the whether the company has determined which processes are determined as HCP, okay, and even the outsource activity or OEM, or even the any material that undergo third party processes also need to be verified. Okay, then control of processing. Okay, in all processing that under the scope of the establishment need to be controlled. Okay, and next is the working environment and supporting facilities. Okay, for the working environment and supporting facilities, one of the issues is that how to control the presence of non-halal material inside the premise. Okay, how do we control the workers that bring foods, okay, from home? Okay, how do we make sure that anything that enter into the premise is free from any non-halal material? So these are the main things that we should counter, okay, in the in auditing the company. Okay, and then workers. The workers, okay, is divided into the personal responsibility. Okay, so we need to have sufficient qualified and competent personnel available to implement, not only to establish, but also to implement and maintain the system. Okay, does our worker, okay, aware on the principles of halal? Does do the workers aware of the policy of halal, and how, and do they understand how they may contribute towards the objective of halal on the company? Okay, so are they following strict personal hygiene, and what kind of training that has been conducted? And we need to also determine if the training conducted is effective enough, okay, to give awareness and understanding to the all workers. Okay. Next is the management system. Halal management system need to be established according to the Malaysian halal management system. Okay, the policy again, and the raw material control. So some of the requirement is redundant. So we need to properly cluster the requirements, okay, accordingly, and based on your preferences in the company. Okay, so this is the documentation and record keeping. Okay, and finally the internal halal audit. Okay, so for halal internal audit, we need to make sure that there are scheduled audit and it has been conducted by qualified auditor. Okay, so we have, so you as the certification body or the company need to identify who are responsible to undertake these responsibilities. Okay. Now, it's time to understand, okay, just now we already understand, okay, the basic, very basic on the requirements of complying towards MS 2636. So we need to also understand the determination of hukum on the usage of medical device. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, okay, I only take surgical suture as the main example. Okay, so but it has no, I mean, there is no big gap between other medical devices, but we need to make you need to aware that medical device is such a complex ecosystem. Okay, the classification only has 4, but the types of medical device is variety. Okay, even the rule of classification also is quite complicated to understand. Okay, so in this part, determination of hukum, I will divide the determination of hukum into 2 main criteria, main elements, meaning that we look for the source of origin to determine the hukum to use the medical device, and we also try to consider the reaction of medical devices, reaction or absorption profile, to determine the hukum of medical device usage. Okay, let us first move to the how source of origin will determine the medical device usage. Okay, so medical device, surgical suture. Okay, surgical suture is divided into alami, natural, organic, and synthetic. Okay, so for hayawani, like I have mentioned, okay, in earlier, it can be derived from haram animal and halal animals. So essentially, as we know, any haram materials, okay, used in, okay, either in the consumption as food products or even the medical treatment, it is considered as haram. Okay, but there are hadiths, there are Quranic verses that stated that using haram material is permitted in a darurah situation or under emergency situation. So the main issue is that the main idea is in halal certification, we only allow material derived from halal material to be certified. Okay, this is in terms of certification, not in terms of the medical usage. Okay, medical usage is one of another things, okay, to be explained. Okay, so for nabati plant derived suture material, okay, normally it derived from cotton or linen fiber. Okay, and for polymer, I have mentioned few example like nylon and PGA. Okay, so both plant and polymer material, if it is safe to be used, okay, under scientific proven, so it is considered as haram and halal, while it is, if it poses any risk towards the usage, okay, it is considered as haram. Okay, so these are the verses that shows the prohibited, okay, of material, okay, from Surah Al-Baqarah, innama harrama alaikumul maitata innama harrama alaikumul maitatu wad-damu wa lahmul khinzir wa ma uhilla lighairi bih. So verily Allah has prohibited carcasses, the blood, the khinzir, and whatever that has been slaughtered not for the sake of Allah. So these are one of the verses that show the prohibition of mentioned elements. Okay. So the next element to determine the hukum of surgical suture is through the absorption profile of medical device. Okay, some of surgical suture, it has two classification in terms of the absorption profile. For absorbable, okay, if let's say the absorbable suture derived from haram material, okay, let's say we take the catgut surgical suture derived from intestinal part of non-slaughtered ruminant animals. Okay, so the catgut material will degrade eventually, okay, due to the reaction of the proteolytic enzyme. Okay, so the small part of the stitching material used will absorb and will seep into our human tissue. So initially, haram material enter into our body, okay, and it will decompose and absorb into the tissue, making it disappear, and the original state of that non-halal material is completely dissolved. So this is maybe related to whatever Dr. Ali has mentioned before. Haram can be halal. So the reaction, okay, that we can looking from the reaction of the surgical sutures, okay, it shows that it mimicked, okay, to the istihlak theory, which istihlak in Al-Quran, it means decompose, degrade, halaka, right? So when the haram material that is moles, okay, mixed with dominant material which is halal, so the dominant material which is halal has made the minute haram material to be lost its original form in terms of order, in terms of in terms of the original form, okay, in terms of order, the taste, and in terms of ain of the materials. Okay, and however, not all jurists accept this theory, istihlak theory. Okay, only Ibn Hazmin, okay, and some students of the Imam Ahmad, okay, has accepted this theory. Okay, so another theory that we that permit, okay, the usage of haram suture is darurah. Okay, darurah is where the both absorbed and non-absorbed material that is haram to be used, okay, but under conditional usage, conditional situation. It can be used only in terms of life-saving situation, and when we have no alternative towards halal material, and under controlled usage, meaning that under the prescribed or advice of the Muslim medical expert or the knowledgeable person. So this is where darurah can make the initially haram material to be used in the medical application. Okay. So however, in terms of certification, istihlak and darurah, okay, cannot be applied in the halal certification procedure, okay, because the main key elements of halal certification is raw material. However, we hope that the dilemma, okay, that faced among patients, okay, need to be clarified. Okay, where as patients need to understand, whenever we are in the situation of darurah and you have no other options unless by using the haram material, which is more effective than the halal one, then you have no choice. Okay, provided that the suggestion come from the Muslim medical expert. Okay. So these are the future potential of medical device. Okay, yeah, I also aware that Dr. Ali also mentioned that one of the potential of this halal pharmaceutical is medical device and medical tourism. It kind of dominoes reaction when one industry one industry may trigger other development of other industry. So these are the dominoes effects of halal medical device. Okay. And yeah, so I hope that the manufacturers will, especially the medical device company, will move towards conforming the halal certification requirement and will use this document to implement MS2636 in their establishment. And I also hope that the halal certification bodies get to implement this document as their guidance during their audits, so it will harmonize the auditings of the medical device industry. So the acknowledgement to the Universiti Teknologi Mara and also Worldwide Medivest team for the cooperation and those sharing knowledge, okay, during my attachment. So yeah, that's all, and thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Dr. Farhani, for interesting presentation. I consider medical device is one of the is a new buy, right? It's newbie, sorry, a newbie in the halal industry. But at the same time, we can consider halal medical device is a right start as well, because when the standard was introduced back in 2019, even though, like you mentioned just now, they still have some issues regarding certification, but there is increasing interest in the industry in this area particularly. Since this conference is focusing on young generation, maybe can you enlighten us more about what would be the potential of the young generation in this industry?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nizam. Okay, I have a few suggestions, okay, to the young or newcomers to halal medical device industry. Okay, please do not focus yourself to only the halal food industry. Okay, yeah, food, we know that food is, if we understand food, okay, food industry is actually a fundamental, okay, fundamental for us, okay, in understanding other complicated industry. However, okay, apart from we only targeting to be the halal executive of a company, whether it is food, medical device or cosmetic, one of the career that should be made known is RA, okay, regulatory affairs in the company. Okay, I have been told, okay, by one of my colleague in medical device industry that if you understand the regulatory affairs on pharmaceutical products or medical device products, okay, it will facilitate the executive in implementing the halal elements. Why? Because they already understand the quality management system of that particular scheme. And then this is where they need to upgrade, okay, their skill, not only in terms of halal but also in terms of the technical of the product. So understanding of the regulation of medical device, okay, and then try to implement and adapt the Sharia aspect in your existing quality management system in the company.
Thank you so much, Dr. Farhani. Another point I think which is very much aligned with the earlier presentation by Dr. Ali is that halal industry has moved from simply like a product sector into a wider, inclusive halal ecosystem approach, in which, like you mentioned just now, we have to look at from the ecosystem or the value chain approach, where along, for instance, in providing a good healthcare system, in the supply chain, there will be a role for the halal pharmaceutical product and also halal medical device, particularly when you're talking about the role of the hospitals, healthcare providers. Yeah. So there's very interesting industry, which is actually a lot of things, particularly and opportunities as well for particularly for graduates from pharmaceutical or medical sciences graduates, which they can explore further despite of being in the so-called established career already identified by the universities or graduates. So this is another area, I guess, the young generation may think about. Do we have any questions from the audience? All right, Dr. Nur Farhani, what's your background basically?
Yes, my background is actually I'm Bachelor of Bachelor of Applied Science and Islamic Study, majoring in biotechnology. But for my PhD is focused on the halal medical device under Department of Fiqh and Usul.
Right. So I can say you have the both. You have the both sides of the world, where you have the Sharia aspect and also the science aspect altogether. That's a good combination. Something that we would like to have more experts in the halal industry, to have the Sharia and also technical aspects. So congratulations for your work. That we hope more people and more young generation will be interested in this area. Thank you so much, Dr. Nur Farhani, for your presentation, and inshallah we look forward to seeing you again.
If you allow me, Dr. I want to thank Dr. Nur Farhani. Also, I want to ask her for the presentation. It's a very informative presentation in the medical devices field.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali. I also learned a lot from you.
Inshallah, I think we can share our presentation to all audience through the organizer, inshallah.
Yep, can.
Sure.
Inshallah.
Thank you, Dr. Ali, for your feedbacks. All right, let's move on to our last speaker. Another interesting area which is growing in the halal industry, wellness. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Nilofar Khan. She is the co-founder of Healthcapita, which is currently based at Healthcapita, Bahrain, as Chief Operation Officer. I just have a quick peek at your website actually. So you have 4, what we call it, if I can call it, branches or regional offices, yeah, in 4 different countries. So Mrs. Nilofar has been in the industry for more than 12 years, and she's very much experienced in the area of management and engineering, particularly in the field of health, wellness, technology. So without further ado, I would like to warmly welcome Mrs. Nilofar to share your thoughts on your topic.
Certainly. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Nizam. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That is great. And thank you so much for giving today's platform. And I would like to thank, the entire conference and everybody who's participating on it. It's a great, I would say, avenue, and it's a great opportunity to share our insights on health and wellness. Well, talking about health and wellness in general, in particular, what we focus on, what my company, Healthcapita Wellness Zone, we also have like our operations in Malaysia as well. So yeah, so what we focus on mainly is prevention, right? Prevention of chronic conditions, prevention of health risks, and we do that by incorporating technology in a lot of our services. Because as you may know, even in Malaysia especially, it's been under MCO since we don't even remember. So it's been like, we are not able to go to the hospitals, we are not able to go to the doctors. So in this time and age, digital facilities and digital platform, so these are of utmost importance. Yeah, so that's what we focus on. All our services and all our programs, packages, everything is directed towards prevention and digital technology in health and wellness domain. I would like to share my presentation. So right, let me just make it full screen. So yeah, so yeah, so today's topic that we would be covering upon or touching upon, it is digital health and digital health index. As I was telling you, evolution of digital health. Now, as we all may know, like, during the pandemic, during the COVID-19, there is a period like pre-COVID and post-COVID. So pre-COVID, everybody was skeptical of, jumping on this bandwagon of technology. But post-COVID, we did not have any options, be it health industry or be it any industry in any sector. So health and wellness and technology has come to the forefront in post-pandemic. Right. So in today's presentation, we'll be covering and we'll be touching upon certain objectives like, how digital health has been evolved during COVID-19. And next, I'll be giving like a quick snapshot of what health and wellness services, digital health and wellness services, Healthcapita has to offer. And
This is-
also like because,
Sorry, I cannot see your slide yet. It doesn't come up yet. Can you try to share the screen, the slide one more time?
okay, let me go ahead and do that, please.
All right.
Yeah. So
Have you clicked on the start screen sharing button?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
So
Still.
well, it should appear. I'm not sure why it's not, but
Right. Maybe can you what we call it, stop sharing and then do it one more time?
yeah.
Okay.
Is it visible now, please?
Not yet.
Okay. Is it now?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, it's there. Alhamdulillah. Can you put it on slide show mode?
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Is it perfect? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, so the topics that we would be covering on.
Sorry, can you put it on slide?
Hello? Yeah.
Right, can you see the button over there, down there, on your right? At the
What
bottom?
can I do? Sorry. What can I do? Sorry.
Can you put it on slideshow, full view for the slide?
I did, but it's not.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah.
It's one
One
more time. It's okay.
Yes. Well, if I put it on the slideshow mode or if I put it on the full screen mode, I'm not able to navigate back to share slide.
Oh, I see. Never mind then. If that's the case, you can just continue in the normal view just now.
Yeah, because I'm not able to get back. I'm not able to navigate to like. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Maybe you can stop sharing and start sharing again, reshare again.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. Because I'm using browser, right? I'm using Zoho on the browser. I have not downloaded the application on my system.
Okay, Dr. Ali suggests that maybe you can open your screen first, and then you can click FN plus F5.
What do I do? I'll stop sharing. So I'll do the full screen. Okay. Then
Yeah. Okay.
function F5. Okay. And then after that,
you click on the start screen sharing.
no, nothing appears for me. I tried like after.
You can click on the button first, start screen sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Nilofar. Let me text. Okay, while waiting for Mrs. Nilofar to come back, let me contact her. Okay. Yeah. Suddenly I lost Mrs. Nilofar just now. Okay. All right. I think she's already out. Oh, she's still here. Okay, I cannot click and make her as the presenter. She's still in the room. Oh yeah. Alhamdulillah, she's come back.
Hello.
Hello, yeah. Mrs. Nilofar, sorry.
Yes. I'm so sorry. I think it was internet or some issue was there. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to tell you. Like if I go function full screen, so then I'm not able to share it.
Oh, never mind. So you can just show with the normal mode. Can you click on the three? Can you click on the three button next to there is a on your left side of the screen. Start with 5 people there and click on the 3 dots there.
Yeah.
Then make yourself as a presenter.
It is disabled for me, that option.
Oh,
make
okay.
presenter. Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. I think you can just continue with what I think is good enough.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. The other slides are also visible on this side, and
it's okay.
Yeah. Right, no worries at all. So yeah, as I was saying, digital health and wellness, so we were moving at a slower pace pre-pandemic or pre-COVID, but post-COVID, there's no option but to choose for or but to go for, at a much higher pace and adapt to the technology in the health and wellness domain, whether we want to or we don't want to. So talking about today's topic, what all would be covering in today's session. So how the evolution of digital health during COVID-19, how the technology was evolved and how the digital health came into prominence right after and during COVID-19. then we can go ahead and I'll give like a quick snapshot of Healthcapita's digital health and wellness, like what we have to offer in this particular domain, what we have been doing, not just in Bahrain, but also in Malaysia, in Saudi, in Kuwait, right? And how we can have digital health and all our services, how this all of our services and digital health is moving towards a sustainable future. So that is also, we need to bear that in mind as well, because we always have to make better choices to have like a great future. So, anything digital, anything online is highly sustainable, and it is, preferable by the stakeholders in the long run. So talking about evolution of digital health during COVID-19, right? So as we all know, in this pandemic, the entire landscape, health and wellness has come to the prominence first and foremost. We have started paying attention to our own bodies, started paying attention to prevention. We had to do, like my company, as I'm based out of Bahrain, and we had to do a lot of legwork before COVID. A lot of, we had to spread a lot of awareness, spreading the importance of prevention. Why prevention is important, but now during COVID-19, we are wearing masks, right? We are wearing sanitizer. We are using sanitizer day in, day out. We are taking vaccines. So what are those? Those are preventive measures. And, like I was saying, so we have started moving towards prevention, wherein, uh, there is no option. There's no other way out. So, yeah. So pandemic has completely, turned the landscape. Earlier, we were always looking at the cure part of it, but now the industry, healthcare industry, the inclination or the focus has greatly been shifted to prevention. Before the pandemic, it has been predicted, like the digital health market, the rise would be, I would say, like around 41.2 billion by 2021. But this was before the pandemic. But right after the pandemic, it has been growing, and it will grow certainly, because people and all the stakeholders involved, even the seekers and the providers, both are adapting to digital health and wellness technology, teleconsultation, telemedicine, in a very seamless manner. Yeah. So what has been the impact of the pandemic on health, safety, and wellness? As we all know, in January 2020, there was the outbreak. It started. That's when it all started. And on 11th March 2020, WHO declared like COVID-19 was a pandemic. Now, but, from there till now, it's been like over a year and a half. So there has been like great impact on all sectors, on all industries, and on all individual, like not only on corporate level, but also on individual level. The health, safety, and wellness conditions were worsened. COVID-19 has reduced access to social protection. There has been negative effects on certain groups and more vulnerable to adverse market outcomes. So why we are focusing more on health and wellness, especially the preventative side of it, is because analysis or data pertaining to health and wellness and safety can save life, and also it can, the healthcare costs can be reduced. It is more profitable to the corporates. Not only it is saving lives, but also it is supporting the bottom line as well. Now, what Healthcapita is trying to do, because today's forum is focused on the youth, the future, how it can be sustainable in the long run. So when we are talking about engaging youth, when we are talking about engaging the younger generation, so not only Healthcapita services can be provided to individuals like you and I, but we can also provide it to universities, educational institutions, and schools across Malaysia and across all over the world. Now, this is the beauty of digital health. Location is never a boundary. We can provide services all across globally without any hindrance. Right? When we talk about providing our services to universities, educational institutions, We mean to have and to provide better health and wellness benefits to students, to improve student engagement, to improve awareness among the educational institutions, and making them inclusive about as simple as the food in the cafeteria, that should be healthy, as simple as including physical activity in day-to-day university or educational environment, you know. So starting from that, but also it can range to as complicated as identifying early identification of risk factors among younger generation. There are so many especially when we talk about younger generation, when we talk about youth, the bodies and mind are always evolving. So to provide them with proper health and wellness support in terms of the evolution, the hormones are always changing. So providing them with counseling and so many different options. Healthcapita Wellness Zone, we can come in and we can support them and handhold them throughout their health and wellness journey, because a healthy child, a healthy youth is the future of a healthy nation, right? But our core objective as a company, as I was saying, we focus mainly on prevention. But what do we prevent? Basically, we prevent chronic conditions through data analysis, through our evidence-based programs. A little bit more about us. As I was saying, we are a health tech company. When we say we are a health tech company, that means we are a technology company. We use a lot of data analytics, we use a lot of evidence, and we work in the health and wellness domain. So that data analysis, that evidence, we redirect it and we design customized wellness programs. So we are based in Bahrain, but also we have our operations in Malaysia, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia, right? And we are actively expanding in other parts of the world as well. Yeah. And what we aim to do, basically, as I was saying, so pre-COVID, it was more inclined towards cure, but post-COVID, everything has been about prevention. So this is right now that we're talking more and looking more into prevention, but this is something, prevention is something that that has been our motto since day one. So yeah, and because we work with a lot of data, we work with a lot of technology, we have made sure our systems are secure, our systems are foolproof, and we respect data privacy more than anything. Because we have our application and also we have our platform, so we strive to become like a single platform wherein all the seekers and providers are available easily, seamless access. They have seamless access to our platform, and wherein the data sharing between the doctor and the patient, the provider and the seeker, not only just the data but also information, and so on and so forth. So everything is seamless, and we strive to become like a single platform wherein the provider and the seeker can have easy access, and it can become like a one-stop solution for all. So when we talk about our core services, when we talk about digital health and wellness, it primarily focuses on, identifying early on the risk factors. We have our health risk assessment. This is our online tool and our in-house technology, which not only evaluates but also predicts the probability of health risk. When we say predicts, it means if in future, if I may have or I am gonna get any health risk. When I say health risk, it can be as as simple as obesity, but as complicated as cardiovascular disease. So there has been a lot of factors that we take into consideration when we have designed this health risk assessment. Now that means we look at your family history, we look at your medical history, because when we talk about chronic conditions or when we talk about any underlying conditions for that matter, so a lot of factors combine to, for the disease to inculcate in our body. So those factors are genetic factors, and those are the other are, lifestyle factors. So not only that we look into your hereditary, or I would say your genetics, but also we look into the current lifestyle that a person is leading, whether they are leading a healthy lifestyle. And if they are, we make sure like they continue on their right path. And if they are not, we are always there to support them. So this was about, our online tool, but also we have like a personal health record. A personal health record is like more of your digital storage space, wherein a seeker can, or a patient, they can upload their medical record, they can send it to their doctor, they can share it to their doctor, right? So it becomes like very easy. So there's no paperwork involved, there's no hassle of, keeping track of your medical history, keeping track of your medical records, but we through our PHR, or through our personal health repository record, the medical records moves with you, rather than, we need to be taking or keeping a track on it. So yeah. And we also have our health card. Our health card is like a single point of contact in case of any accident or in case of any emergency. But on top of these services, we have teleconsultation, medical tourism, scheduler, wellness calculators, health checkup, health screening, doctor on demand, expert opinion, second opinion. Now, all of these services, we had developed um, long back, but post COVID, they have come into prominence like anything, because there's a lot of technology involved into it, but aiming at better and aiming at improving the health and wellness of the stakeholders, of the seekers, of the end users. Yeah. So when we talk about wellness programs, the first service that we see here, so wellness programs, what we do, this is our core expertise. So when a member, or when, let's say, when a student, when a younger generation or a youth, when they start a health and wellness journey with us, it begins with risk assessment to analyze if there is an underlying chronic condition, or if there is an underlying risk within that member. Then right after that, we follow it up with a biometric health screening. When I say biometric health screening, so any health risk that has been identified or highlighted in the assessment, we further validate it with the health checkup. And basis that, we design our in-house wellness programs, focusing on how to reduce those identified health risks. Now, well, as I was saying more on, the Healthcapita's digital health and wellness. So what we have to offer is like co-branded health card, digital medical records, health risk assessment, health index report, digital data management, and customized wellness programs. Now, as I was saying more on health risk assessment, it focuses on not only the current lifestyle that youth is leading, or like you and I, like we are living, like what sort of a lifestyle are we living? Because if we are working non-stop in a corporate, 80% of the time that we spend, we are living like a sedentary lifestyle, eating unhealthy food and having like physical inactivity. But not only that, our assessment focuses also on family medical history, because we have a genetic factors that we cannot change. Those are not modifiable factors. Now about our health card, as I was saying, so this is our digital health card. We also have our application, we also have our portal, website portal. So this card can be physical and digital both. In case of any accidents, in case of any emergency, it becomes like a single point of contact. When in case of any unfortunate event, when somebody has been met with an accident, the immediate information that is required at that time is insurance details, policy number for cashless claiming, right? And also if there has been any surgery that is required, or if there has been any blood loss that must have been taken place, so emergency contact, physician contact, so all of this is really really important, during that critical time of accident or emergency. So we have collated all the information onto one card that becomes like a single point of contact or the go-to in case of accident or emergency. But not only that, this card has a dual purpose, right? We have like a great network in Malaysia, in Bahrain, and in any countries that we have our presence in. So when I say wellness network, it means provider partners, physicians, I would say, then diagnostic clinics, medical centers, spas, gyms, so on and so forth. So all of the discounts that they are giving us, we attach it to this health card. So the member, our member or anybody who has subscribed to our services, so they have access to the discounts and discounts that pertain to several of the wellness partners that we have associated or affiliated with. Yeah. So this card has dual purpose. Now, as I was saying more on the personal health record, it's like, it's a hassle-free way to have your medical records on the go, to share it with the doctor. The doctor can share their feedback on the medical record, medical history, so it's easy communication with the doctor as well, and easy access to the medical records. When I say medical records, all our reports, blood reports, blood test report, x-ray, everything can be uploaded onto the application or to the portal. Now, this is where our, algorithm, or this is where our system, this is our in-house technology. Now, this report is called the Health Index Report. So let's say, like, we have done our health and wellness program. We have completed it for a group of individual, or let's say in a university. Let's take an example of a university, right? So for a university, we have developed a program for all the students within the campus. Now, when we begin our program, we begin the journey with the risk assessment. After risk assessment, and also with a follow-up health checkup, this sort of data, or this the data that has our system collates and integrate, is displayed in this format. So our system identifies the risk factors, mainly obesity, hypertension, diabetes, and cholesterol, and it also identifies the risk buckets. So how many percentage of the total students in a university, how many of them are at low risk of obesity, how many of them are at medium risk of obesity, and how many of them are at high risk. Same goes for hypertension, diabetes, and cholesterol, so on. And we can have, like, as many tests as possible, and our system, it can easily integrate, it can easily collate, and it can easily give out data for the risk factors. It can easily identify and segregate into different risk factors. So basis this, we design customized wellness programs on how to reduce the identified health risk. There are two ways that our system does this. So this is one of the charts, and the other one is in the pie chart format. So, but the information that it displays or it gives out is much more similar. So it just says, like, how many percentage of the members are at low risk, how many of them are at medium risk, and how many of them are at high risk. Now, why do we need to focus on health index? We need to focus on health index because unless we have the proper risk assessment, unless we have, like, the early identification, the prevention is not possible. All the implementation measures of control and prevention, they completely depend on risk assessment, right? And how do we base our assessment? We base it, on the validated reports, on the validated HRA and the biometric screening. So everything has proper data control, and yeah, so it focuses more on the preventative and the protective measures to reduce the spread of infectious diseases. Not only infectious, though those are like communicable diseases, but also NCDs in particular. So, our system not only does it do like proper risk analysis, but it also makes like the data analysis and assessment into a reality. It begins with data acquisition and assessment. Then the next step that we follow up is the identification of risk segments, and also we develop our predictive model, and we develop the wellness programs in-house. As you can see here, this wellness cycle, the wellness index, it begins with assessing the chronic conditions, then health screening, health index report, then improving and implementing the wellness programs, and also tracking and maintaining the chronic conditions and also the health conditions. Even when we are talking about COVID, if need be, we have our SpO2 levels always measured, we have our temperatures always measured. So this is the tracking and maintaining of the our vitals all the time. So yeah, so if we compare our health and wellness services with other applications, especially let's say, Apple Watch and iOS out there, Apple Health as they call it. So that is the best benchmark in the market. But still what they are trying to do is quite different what we are doing. Even they are not focusing on the preventative side of health and wellness. What we provide to our members, risk assessment, screening, wellness programs, mitigating the health risks, and medical tourism, teleconsultation, second opinion, expert opinion, ask an expert. So all of these features and all of these facilities highly are inclined towards, especially when we are not moving around during MCO. So yeah, so these services become much more essential during such time. This is our Healthcapita application, that we have developed. So it has all the features which I mentioned earlier built into it. So all the members have easy access to it. In our application, we also have teleconsultation that has been built in. This teleconsultation, this feature was very useful since last 1 year or so, because as we were not able to move around, but we still needed medical assistance. So this was really I would say important in the pandemic. So, and still, we are always improving, we are always adding more and more doctors day in, day out onto our teleconsultation application. But if we look at the benefits, especially when we design customized wellness programs, especially to take care of the chronic conditions. So what are the benefits? The benefits differ from segments to segments, especially if we look at individuals, if we look at corporates. For the providers, what are the benefits? For insurers, for educational institutions, the main benefit is a reduction of healthcare cost, because chronic conditions, they take up 80% of any healthcare spending. Even if a corporate is spending, let's say, a certain amount of budget on their employees, but out of that health spending or healthcare budget, 80% of that goes into managing chronic conditions. It can be for a nation as well, for a country. If a country is spending a particular amount of money, let's say an X amount, towards the the healthcare spending of a country. So, but out of that, 75 to 80% goes into managing chronic conditions. So prevent, but these lifestyle diseases and I would say anything and everything pertaining to chronic conditions, so it can be easily prevented. But we are always moving towards the cure part of it. It is very important for educational institutions to look into our our objectives, or look into our solutions that we provide for managing the health and wellness for the youth, because they are the future of tomorrow. So yeah, and if any condition of, it can be as simple as ADHD, anything and everything that is underlying among a youth or a child, if it is early identified, we can always protect our future that way. So yeah, so these were the benefits. And how the health index and wellness package, how it can benefit to members based in Malaysia, because we have our operations in Malaysia. We have it under Wellness Zone Malaysia, Senzin Bahar, and we offer wellness programs to universities and schools. And also we derive the health index that has been identified or analyzed among the students, and basis that we provide health and wellness programs. Now this wellness program, it always includes, like, if there are any high risk factors, so we can always have like the health checkup, health screening done over and over again. On top of that, the type of the health risk and the symptoms, so basis that, if any further assistance is required of medical tourism, expert opinion, second opinion, we can provide all of that, like our comprehensive end-to-end solution. Then, talking about the business opportunity, especially for the youth, especially for the community at the moment. So what is the business opportunity, or what is the benefit, that a youth or a fresh graduate, what can they gain out of this? They can become a health and wellness coordinator. They can be entrepreneur. They can easily market our digital health and wellness services all across Malaysia. Now when they do so, they can earn, like, depending on the MOU and the NDA that we sign. So absolutely this can be done. And also when we say, like, a fresh graduate, if they want to become like our wellness coordinator, so what exactly do we mean? Because today's generation, they are tech savvy, they adapt to the technology, they adapt to the workings of the application, of the portal, of the website. They learn it much quicker, and also they are able to teach, or they will be able to assist the elderlies, the senior members, how to log into the portal, how to register into the portal, how to use this. And we, Wellness Zone Malaysia, we can provide awareness and training for all the wellness coordinators about, like a tutorial about Healthcapita portal, Healthcapita mobile apps, and yeah, they can become our wellness coordinator. So that was what about Healthcapita, or Wellness Zone, that I had to offer in our today's session. So thank you so much for having me on today. And I would like to take on if there are any more questions, or any questions from Nizam. So yeah, please.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Nilofar, for interesting and insightful talk on. Can I conclude there is a digital health? Okay,
Yes,
digital
absolutely.
health wellness. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
growing.
yeah.
There is a growing market segment. Maybe look at from the economic point of view, where it ensures more people to have equitable and also affordable access to health service. Before we have discussed health or pharmaceutical from the perspective of products. and ecosystem. So this can be another added value to the halal ecosystem, where now today you have the merging or the merge of health and AI. With the rise of the health technologies, hopefully we can make it more affordable to the public. I'm quite interested with the way you present, because normally digital health is quite well known in the context of in the context of corporate world.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the young generation, I would say it is relatively growing and not quite known yet. So I'm just wondering, how much is the percentage of uptake of of your program among the youth, and how do you see the services provided by the company would fit in with a bigger spectrum of sustainable halal industry?
Right. See, because firstly, I would say, like, when we talk about educational institutions, especially, what we have been doing it here in Bahrain. So around 50 to 60% of the uptake has been by the educational institution, because even in Bahrain, all across the world, schools have gone online. So there are no physical classes that have been taken up. So digital health and wellness and our services has been really helpful, for the schools and educational institutions to take up on. We can also, what we generally do here is we also have like fun physical activities, not only for for the schools, but also for preschool, because there has been no movement at all, right? There has been no movement in the sense, the kids, they're just glued to the screens all the time. They're studying, they're taking up classes over the laptop, and that's it. There are no activity, no nothing apart from just taking up classes online. When we talk about the kids and the younger generation, as we all know, during COVID-19, now we have the vaccines. Those vaccines are eligible only for 18 plus of age. The kids, they don't even have access to any vaccine. Not only access, there's no vaccine available just yet for them. So preventative health and wellness, what to do, how to take care of their health and wellness day in, day out has been like a major headache for all the parents across the world, right? So, and especially now, how to boost the immunity. So we do a lot of webinars as well. We do a lot of wellness, webinars, pertaining not only for parents, but also for teachers, how to take care of the students, because teachers, they are like the second parents for the students. Yeah. So so we have been doing a lot of health and wellness preventative activities. Yes, Dr. Noor. Yes. So yeah.
Nilofar, it's been listening to your day. I would like to add on to your feedback. Yes, I'm very much aware of Healthcapita, because I'm heading the Healthcapita Malaysia for Nilofar. So the health and wellness coordinator that we want to bring to the job opportunity for young entrepreneurs, young generations, because they are the digital savvy people. So they probably know how to bridge the gap between the elderly and the young ones. So that's why I believe if we, bringing such topics into this forum today would be an interesting platform for the younger generations to embark into a new type of job opportunity. Not so much as a job description, but community development, we call that, yeah? Community development, so that more people will get into the roadmap of health and wellness using the digital highway.
Yeah. Because when we talk about digital health, Dr. Noor, Mrs. Nilofar, it's either become a divide, another, expanding the divide, or a bridge. So of course we do not want to have more like, expanding divide between the people, human, and healthcare services. So hopefully this will bring more social goods for people. And I can see that because you have a big project for students and universities to also be part of the of what we call it, your services provided.
Yeah.
Dr. Alina, any
I have
questions?
one last point, Mrs. Nilofar, because I'm very excited by what you have presented just now. Are there any possibilities that we can expand further on your medical index you mentioned just now? And then let's see whether your solutions can actually reduce the imbalance between undernutrition and obesity, especially in OIC countries, because they appear to be a very terrible imbalance. Okay, like maybe in Malaysia, we are among the top ranking, unfortunately, among obesity. So maybe there are certain countries also, so we can get that data and then we can link with relevant agencies, universities, and maybe it can be an outreach from universities, college, Ministry of Health. It can also reach to the secondary schools and primary schools, so we can actually take that data and then it can be metadata. It can be we can have a good source of data, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, so that this will actually wake up the government that, hey, you are not spending enough time or you are unfocused and so on, so that it can be part of future policy. So you're helping Muslims government by providing data, because before this we only have like Statista just to get a snapshot of this data.
Yeah.
So what you are actually trying to wake up all of us is that maybe there are areas that is still green light, but yellow light, that means warning, or maybe red light, that means we are complacent. Okay, that's all, Mrs. Nilofar.
No, that's a great way to go for. Yes, Dr. Noor, Dr. Noor's vision and, us vision, our vision is just the same. We, a nation, a country, a school, a corporate, what is it built up of? It's made up of individuals like you and I, right? So starting with individuals, we can build up a healthy country from ground up. As we were talking about children, they are the future of the country, but nowhere can we find like a validated data source for kids, for the youth, to look upon. And we are more than happy to build like a great database or a data source, metadata, however we want to call it, but not only for the current scenario, but also, we can incorporate the historicals. So yeah, and we can generate health index pertaining to undernutrition and also like obesity data pertaining to those criterias. Yeah, it's easily
There's something
doable.
to add in here, Nilofar. The fact that Dr. Lina, we are already working with IIUM, International Islamic University Malaysia, and in fact they have a faculty, the KICT faculty, together with their education campus in Pago, where they want to already incorporate Healthcapita's what I call medical online portal to the community of Pago. And I think I can definitely work with Dr. Alina, with everybody here who probably be interested to see how we roll out to the community under our what I call CSR program, corporate social responsibility. And to a certain extent, myself, I'm not just part of Healthcapita Malaysia. I'm also under another association called Sustainable Business Network Association Malaysia, where we really support sustainability in a different context, not just to support the alignment with the United Nations SDGs, but also we have a framework to develop the community for such health and wellness project. That's how I supported to bring that closeness between community and technology. A lot of people do not know about the health element because we are never been given the chance to look at our data. Yeah, but if we have the chance to look at our data digitally into our mobile, our community will get more attention regarding what it takes to be obese. All right, so we know that we are top in the obesity in the ranking of ASEAN countries, and this is not good in the eyes of a lot of people who are looking at the human capital of Malaysia. If there are people are high obesity, people are not healthy. So, it's very important for us to now reduce that risk and reduce that index. So how we do, we have to educate the community. So the young generations, we must make them understand that technology can help reduce the risk of health, but provided they have been given the way to do it, they've been given the role to do it. So this is what we are doing now on the health and wellness coordination to ensure community can help each other.
Okay. Dr. Alina, you know what I would, and Dr. Noor also, what I would like to emphasize on the point. So one part of, of our job would be data collection. That is just, 1/4 of the job done. But what after that? Data collection, as you were saying, we have like risk buckets. We have like normal bucket. We have like, medium risk bucket. And we also have like the high risk bucket, green, amber, and red, green, yellow, red. But what we need to look at, or what we need to emphasize, is the bucket that is especially yellow color bucket, all of the candidates or data in that or members in that bucket, it can easily be prevented. These are lifestyle diseases that we are talking about, undernutrition or obesity. So these are not something that we are born with. These diseases are something that has been induced upon us because of our lifestyle, because of a children's lifestyle. A child, if he's not getting proper food, he's undernourished. A child, if it is they've been overfeeding a child, he's obese. So so this is something that can be prevented. So high risk, we can always look at tracking and monitoring and bringing them back to the normal level. But when we're looking at the yellow bucket especially, yes, yeah. So the main job begins there, looking at the data and working towards the preventative measures, how to bring back the youth and the children to normalcy levels. Not only for when we are talking about nutrition, we can look at several other risk factors as well. To begin with, obesity and I would say the nutritional factors. So they are the key indicators, of unhealthiness, and they are the root cause of other chronic conditions. Right. So it is something to tackle upon in the first place, but also we can look at other risk factors. Yeah. But gathering data is just the beginning of it. Working towards it, mending it, and also, giving out wellness programs to reduce the health risks. So that is the more, the government should focus on not only just on historicals and reviewing like, okay, fine, we have the data, but what to do after that? What to do with that data, Yes.
Yes.
So,
I think after this, we can actually propose to the organizer, Brother Noor, whether there are some further actions to be done in terms of follow-ups, because I think this actually offer exciting opportunities, not only in the term of business, but also in the form of fixing our current problems in the present, as well as the mistakes we did in the past, so that we have a healthier, happier future, and also perhaps extend our lifespan, because we make earlier intervention and adjustments before sickness come to our lives.
Yeah, prevention is better than cure, especially in the young generation. And digital way is the only way for them to get connected very fast in understanding the system. Just like e-learning, everybody now go on Zoom to learn. I think the younger generation will have a better understanding how to do protection or prevention now that they are digital savvy.
Okay, so I think we have finally come upon a very fruitful discussion and almost to an end. So I think I now hand over the event to Dr. Nizam.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alina, Mrs. Nilofar, and Dr. Noor for lively discussion just now. That concludes the 3-hour session on halal and healthcare industry. So we have discussed before we started with Dr. Ali on halal pharmaceutical, and then later with Dr. Noor Farhani on medical device, and we finished with Mr. wellness and technology. So such a wonderful discussion today. Thank you so much to all presenters for your time, for your sharing and experience. We really appreciate sharing. Hopefully, inshallah, we will inspire the youth as well, now and in the future for the halal industry, inshallah. So with that, I conclude the session with Tasbih Kafaro and then
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nizam. Thank you, Dr. Alina. Thank you, Dr. Noor. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
evening. Bye.
Yes.
Okay, thank you
Yeah. Bye-bye.
everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Yeah. Salam.